Good morning. As we proceed in our story, Yehuda, as we know in this week's Parsha, stands up for Binyamin, putting himself at personal risk, that he is willing to be a slave so that Binyamin will not be. What this shows is the Torah's concept of leadership. Let's compare Yehuda and Reuben. Reuben is a good guy. He should be the leader of the brothers because he's the firstborn, but he's not. Yehuda takes over leadership because he sees a problem and he acts to solve that problem. Reuben saw a problem and he makes plans, but he doesn't succeed in his plans. He also, one of the problems that that Reuben has, is he's always, as they used to say, a dollar short. He's a good guy. He's not bad. But somehow he messes up his plans. He always makes these plans and more plans and more plans. Yehuda takes decisive action. When the brothers are confronted by the viceroy of Egypt, Yehuda steps up and says, "Take me as a slave. Do not enslave my brother." We saw this also with Tamar. Yehuda stood up and said, "She is more righteous than I am." He took personal responsibility for what he did and owned up to it, and then um, and he basically took action. So this is an important element of leadership. Take decisive action, admit your mistakes, and then proceed from there. Note that Joseph, by the way, is also a leader. He made mistakes. He recognized them. And then he learned from his mistakes and took personal responsibility, because he also says to the brothers, "Don't feel bad. This is all part of God's plan. You thought you were acting on your own by selling me into slavery, but it was part of God's plan to get us down here. And for this reason, Joseph uh, understands that this is all in God's hands." So you have two examples of leadership: take decisive action and take personal responsibility. Remember, this is to teach us. Remember what JFK once said: "Success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan." The Torah says failure should never be an orphan. If you fail, take responsibility. Uh, as an example, in 1974, Golda Meir was taken before the Kahan Commission, which exonerated her from any wrongdoing in the lead up to the Yom Kippur War. But she resigned her position because she said, it was, in the final analysis, it was her responsibility as prime minister. Um, there will be a inquiry into the Gaza war, but it'll come after everything has settled down, relatively speaking. So that is the Parsha coming to teach us that leadership, with leadership comes responsibility. And that is the most important thing that we can remember about leadership. Something that